Welcome to episode 1 of Not HEX. I've got Blue Bum with me here. How are you, mate?
Hey, man. Good. Yeah. Do you want to maybe stop that music in the background?
Yeah,
that's it.
It's all gone.
Yeah.
So,
excellent, hey?
We're here.
Hey,
I was just going to introduce what we're doing. As a lot of the people who will watch this will probably know, we've been on the HEX Late Show for a few years now, and the HEX Late Show will continue. It's still going, but on DeFi Down Under, which is this channel, we're doing a show called Not HEX. Blue Bum and I, and any of our other mates who want to come on and talk, and it's going to be dedicated to stuff that is not HEX.
Yeah, it's funny, hey, because I just quote tweeted it out, and I did hashtag Naughty Boys, like NAUGHTYBOIS, and I thought that's not a bad name for a show, actually. Naughty Boys.
Hey, we can do as many shows as we like,
and call them whatever we want.
And
we were trying to come up with a name for the show, and
what were the names?
We had a lot, didn't we? I really like Let's Go. Like,
Let's Go. We can have a show called Let's Go. We can have a show called Let's Go.
I think that should be actually someone's name. Someone should do a character, Let's Go, and they should just be really full on. And
Let's go. You've been in the acting game. That's something that you could do. Let's Go.
Yeah, I could, I suppose. It's a perfect name. I don't know if I've got the right energy for the character or something, maybe, but yeah.
We're still going to do a movie one day. Blue Bum. Like I've made all these plans that like it's been years in the making. We're no closer than we were before, but I have roped Blue Bum into it. I get a feeling that you'll do it if I just like organize, if I set it up. I'm sure you'll like just come along. Probably. I'll be like, hey, bro, this is where we're shooting, and you'll be like, okay, I'll come along.
Yeah, for sure. Like, yeah, absolutely, man. If you organize everything, and I just have to turn up and improvise, for sure.
Yeah. Well, I think it would be heaps of fun. I really think it would be loads and loads of fun. Well, if we
well, we're gonna get Vespers and like travel through Italy, weren't we? That was one plan eventually.
That should be something that maybe we should just shoot it in Italy, hey?
Yeah.
I think that's something that we should do. Do you like this is not HEX, but do you like my logos in the background?
I do, yeah. This is your office, eh?
Yep. This is my office. I've also got a cap here. I'm not sure if you can see. Let me get rid of my can I get rid of the captions? I'm on the unpaid version of Restream.
Probably.
I'm not sure if I can get rid of I think I know how to do it. Yeah, if I show one of these, here we go. Show one of them and it takes it off. But if you look here, can you see this?
Yeah, man. The Hexicans love the caps. Everyone's got caps and everyone gives me caps at these meetups. And I never wear caps. I can't do it.
You see that?
I can't wear hats at all. Yeah. Looks great. What's on the front of it? What kind of symbol is it?
It's a throne.
Oh, okay. Oh, nice. Where'd you get that one from?
Puma. They just had it. So
right.
Yeah. So hey, welcome to everyone in the chat. Big welcome to Not HEX. And this all. Why did we decide to? We've been wanting to do this for a long time, but why did we decide to do this?
I think because we felt. Well, I felt a bit constricted that we can only talk about HEX stuff on the HEX Late Show. Because why is that? It's like I think it comes from Richard telling people not to talk about anything else or something like that, and everyone just kind of goes along with that culture. You know, it's like if you're talking about something else, then people are hearing about it, and they're they're going to get scammed. That's the logic. And but I just think we're adults, and like there's so many interesting things happening in crypto, and I like to discuss it all out anyway. If something is bad, then we want to be able to talk about why it's bad. And if something, but things are, there are also really good ideas out there, and a mixture of good and bad ideas. So why just talk? I think all adults, and can make decisions.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. I think your nature is you're like someone who likes to explore and dig deeper. Like you're not the type of person who will just scratch the surface and keep walking. You will you want to really explore the possibilities, and I think that as a starting point for this show, we can maybe just talk about the possibilities with the RH ecosystem, these tokens, but also, I mean, whatever you want to talk about, obviously it doesn't matter. But I think you and me together, the reason this is a good combination is because I'm quite I like to cut things down when I see problems. I like just from a sort of just being in business, I like to exclude shit that's gonna, anything that's gonna interfere with my mission or my MO. I like to exclude it. So that is at odds with being always like open to new stuff, because then if I'm like that, then I can't zero in on things. And so that's why I think that this is probably a good, because you're going to be like, oh, let's look at this. What's this? What's the possibilities of this? And I'm going to be like looking at it, saying, oh, that could be good. This sucks because of this or whatever. But I think that, I think that we could, working together, I think that we can sort shit out. You and me, Louis. That's what I reckon.
Sorting shit out. That could be the name of the show.
We should have some sort of like comp that we to work out a name for the show. But I like not HEX because
Culture Club.
Who wrote that? No thanks. So tell me, what do you want to talk about, Bluey? What do you want to talk about that you've never been able to talk about on the HEX Late Show? And
Okay, well, I mean, I've been really into Zen basically, and I've been really interested in Zen and intrigued by Zen, and
I have not, by the way, just for clarity.
And as you were talking there, it just really occurred to me that there's a really fundamental difference in approach between Zen and HEX. Like, for instance, with HEX is like, there was a big argument. Like, as soon as we went on another chain, there was a big argument about which is the official, where should we put all of our energy? And some of the community wanted just to only go onto Pulse HEX, and I'm sure a lot of people dumped their obviously because the price went so far down, they dumped their HEX and sort of moved over. And there are others of us who are just like, no, well, why would you? I'm not going to emergency unstake anything when we're locked in for like years. Why wouldn't you want to have value on both chains? And I think that also comes from, the leader who has a bit of a it's all into this kind of mindset. And that's why we see the OAs, like, because Pulse has an OA as well, and Pulse X has an OA, and it's all about like having a ton of centralized kind of ownership within a specific kind of token, and that all of the economic energy should flow to one thing in order to increase the value of that. And Zen,
but that's not. Can I just push back on that just one point? The way HEX has been, and we're not supposed to be talking about HEX, but you brought up the OA. The way HEX has been designed is that over the long term, the OA's holdings will get eaten away. So that is the way it's been designed. It's been designed.
That's true. Okay, that's true for HEX. But then you look at Pulse and Pulse X, and it's not going to. It's not going to happen. The opposite is going to be with Pulse X, because the person who owns 90% of Pulse X, their holding is just going to dramatically increase over time. So it's Richard's kind of philosophy. I don't know. I'm not exactly. We don't know the reasons he does something, but I just want to contrast it with like what the approach that Zen has taken, where Zen has just basically gone, right, we're on every single chain and then some. We're just going to put out as much stuff as we can, and we're going to put it out everywhere. And then when Pulse was released, there was a big controversy within the Zen community, because all of these people who had Zen and then had copies, they were thinking that was going to be the official Zen. But then Jack, in the early days, decided to release a new contract on the Pulse chain. And so all of a sudden there was this, like, everyone started just minting on this new one. And all of the people who had all of these bags from the Ethereum chain are really pissed off, because they thought they were going to be doubling their things or whatever. And then a few days after that, he came out and said, and he set up a special like thing for the OG. It's called OG Zen. So now that's not on Pulse chain. You have OG Zen, which is traded and not traded too much, and then you have the new Zen on Pulse, and there's going to be some sort of thing where you can burn the OG Zen and get this part of this XN, which is this new chain that they're going to be coming out with. So it's all about kind of like, if there is a problem like that, it's just add more. It's like, and so there is like, like Zen's on like over 10 chains, and they're all different Zens. And what's happened is that people have just chosen where they want to go. Like, some people like to mint it on Ethereum. Some people have gone and started doing it on Pulse chain. Some people like to do it on the chains where there's hardly any like transaction value, and those Zens are like worth nowhere near as much as like on Ethereum. Like, it's been interesting because the Ethereum Zen has been the most valuable, and it's because of the transaction cost, because of the cost basis.
But as a and I'm gonna, like, this is adversarial thinking, like, don't you think that like dispersing yourself too thinly across everything is just going to result in really shitty like performance everywhere? Like, don't you want to have? Don't you? I mean, I sort of understand what you're saying about like later on you can burn it for something else on this new thing, but and that might be a marketing sort of ploy or I shouldn't say ploy, like tactic, just a marketing strategy. But like in the meantime, aren't you just like putting economic energy into something where like all the other people who find out about it, like you might be talking about it, chain, but the people that learn about it will go buy on another chain, and that's not like contributing to the the price performance in any way, shape, or form, because it's just it's dispersed all over the place. Is that not like a fundamental problem from a price point perspective?
Yeah, that's what you would first think. But like, I'll give the analogy of like when Napster and stuff started coming out, and people started like copying other people's music, and everyone thought it was going to be it was going to destroy artists' incomes, because instead of having these centralized, controlled avenues whereby all the kind of money flowed into one thing, now people could just copy the music and everyone could be downloading it. But what ended up happening?
It did destroy their incomes. It changed it changed the music. It forced the change in the music industry, where nowadays it seems to me that people who need to tour to make big bucks. Like they need to go on tour, because if you're not going on, or you need to sell your music to like another like a movie or something.
It went into other things, like you had to have merch, and that's how you made your money. Like a lot of bands make their money on merch. But the thing is that what ended up happening is that it was a way for artists to gain popularity. And if you looked at the numbers, like it's actually, if you're an artist, you don't mind that people are downloading your stuff, because you're gaining like tons more usage, and that kind of grows. The awareness of you grows exponentially, and then you have to work out ways to monetize it, like through merch or through touring, or through paid online.
Touring is the ultimate. Like touring is the ultimate. Touring is the ultimate. I'm not sure if you can hear that. Did you hear that?
Yeah, it looked like, I don't know. Yeah, I didn't. Is something bad? Was this a storm outside or what?
Yeah, something happened. I don't know. I lost my train of thought.
Touring is the ultimate in something.
It's the ultimate. Like you go and see the artist live. That's like the ultimate thing. So, but there was a period of time where you get your music on vinyl, then like a few different.
Yeah, but even then, people were touring. Like that was
touring has always been the ultimate. Has always been the ultimate way. But all that the Napster stuff did, and all the copying of music did, was make people like not go out and buy CDs anymore. So we saw all the music, like so many music shops died or had to diversify into other stuff. Like that was that's how it really disrupted. It was a disruptor, a big disruptor. And is it the question is it fair to take someone's artistic their art, basically?
Look, my point is in how I'm comparing it, is that Zen has taken this thing of like, I think it's more of a mindset of abundance, and it's kind of like, let's put all of our stuff on all of these different chains, and people can use whatever they want, and that's a way to kind of like get more and more users from everywhere. And in the end, it will be a better tactic, because it's all about the users than just trying to funnel them into one specific token on one specific chain, which is what the kind of HEX ecosystem has been about. And it's like
it's a different strategy. It's a different strategy, but
exactly.
But like we haven't seen anyone make like big bucks on Zen ever. Like at least Hexes. No, no, dude. Don't like. Come on, it's not happened. It's not happened.
People have been making pretty good money, man.
No, I'm talking big bucks. Like I'm talking driving around in Lambos and shit. People did that with HEX. HEX has proven itself. So I don't want to make this like against HEX, but it's like Zen versus HEX. But it's yet to be seen whether that experiment is even going to play out.
I mean, I suppose it depends how you measure these things, and that's going to be interesting, like way, because they aren't directly comparable necessarily, because they're structured so differently. But
there is a way you can compare them. It is on price performance or its ability to enrich people. That's the fundamental way that we're going to compare any crypto. That's like the base way, and there's a fair argument to say, hey, in the HEX ecosystem, you could say, hey, anyone who has gotten in, who got in a couple of years ago or even a year and a half ago, and it has just held, they've been wrecked. A lot of people have been wrecked, but like, I think that like there's that argument, but at least we can say, hey, HEX had a crazy, 10,000x upwards, swing.
Yeah, but that 10,000x, like when you break that down, like it's hardly anyone would have got it in at that price. And
But
the people
that's
who
not the
did,
point. Do you know why?
no, but
That's
hang
not,
on, and the people who did get in at that price it would have been such, they would have had to do it at such low liquidity that it like it wouldn't have been much.
it wouldn't have been much. You're right, but it's just like
And they would have had to time it like within
look, I
within
hear
a
what
week
you're
on both
saying, and I
sides.
don't completely disagree with what you're saying that like 10,000x, it's not like everyone who got into HEX made 10,000x. Very few people did that, right? Very few people did that. However, it's the way that you work it out, because you need to have some sort of standard way of saying like price performance of a token, right? You need a
But
standard.
that's where it's difficult to compare,
No, but it's
because
almost like unemployment
it's not
figures,
about
right?
with
You know,
with
when they
Zen.
talk about, hang on,
But hang
you
on,
know,
hang
when
on.
they talk about, I just want to make this comparison. Like when you talk about unemployment figures, for example, you know, they take people who work for 2 hours. Like they count people who work for like 1 or 2 hours a week as being employed. Right. And you say, but that's ridiculous. Yes, but that's the standard that they have. Like that person has been employed and is no longer unemployed because that's the standard they have. Right. And it's a standard that you need to have some sort of standard to conform to, so that
So it's the same across
yeah, so
comparing,
you
so
have
you can
some sort
compare.
of yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But it's just, that's where it becomes more difficult with comparing Zen and other stuff, because like if you buy and then try to sell later, only in the short term have people kind of swing traded money and made money in that sense. Like over the long term, yeah, you would have been wrecked if you would have bought in the first week or in the first few months and now. But if you mint and wait, then you are up. Like so far, all of the mints that I've done, I'm up X's by the time that I claim, and then if I wanted to sell at that point. And it's been all the way up to like 10 or 11x.
But like the thing that I don't understand is like in terms of the gas that it costs you to mint it. So it's never going to be like big bucks. It's just like you got to do.
Well, no, you can do these things called, they have as NFTs, which are VMUs. They call it I can't remember what they call it, virtual minting unit or something like that. And what you can do is you can mint up to like, on Ethereum, you can mint up to 128 like wallets all at once. So that's the most you can do at once. So at the moment, that one of those costs you like 0.33 or something, 0.32 ETH. If you get it in at a nice low gas price.
Weren't there people like using bots to do this sort of thing in the beginning? Is that still
there would have been? There would have been, yeah, but then there would have been people using bots to mint, but then very soon after that, people came out with solutions for your average user to be able to use something similar. I forget what they called it. I never ended up doing it, but it was some sort of thing where you could you could basically like get a ton of wallets and just mint them all at once, and it became very accessible to the average user. But then very, very soon after that, they came out with these NFTs, which was minting up to 128 at once. And so and the price is literally just like, it's like let's say it's $4 to mint, and then it's like about $6 to end the stake. So $4 times 128, and then $6 times 128 at the end, and then you see how much it's worth after you've minted it. And what's very evident is that similarly to HEX, it ends up being the impatient paying towards the patient. So where you have the impatient who are like wanting Zen either to buy it or to do whatever, like often also because what happened, that's the other interesting thing that happened with Zen, which could have happened to HEX but didn't, is that you started getting all of these other protocols, and they are basically said you have to burn Zen in order to get this other coin. And we started seeing tons, like a whole lot of those. And some of them were just meme coins, but some of them had really interesting tokenomics. And so, and the way for people to get them was to burn Zen. So an absolute shit ton of Zen has been burnt. over time. Like I think it's nearly up to half of all of the Zen minted as claimed as being burnt or something. And that's just going to continue into the future because now these guys are developing their own chain, and when that comes out, I mean, there's going to be all sorts of ways. Like there's going to be a number of different ways in which you can burn Zen to get that new thing.
Dude, I don't know what it is. I think that like from what you've been telling me, I understand I understand the story that you're telling. I understand, like, you know, on a sort of in a rough way what Zen is about. It just doesn't, like, I don't like you have to keep doing shit. Like I'm very much like you, and you know, I say this in the chat, like our private chat all the time, like in our private group chat.
You don't want to be a click monkey.
Yeah, I don't want to be a monkey. I don't want. Yeah. There's enough click monkeying that you have to do in everyday life now just to.
Yeah, I bet you don't have to. Well, don't. Money. I mean, yeah, you don't have to do it. I mean, and don't do it. You know what I mean? But that's what he calls it is proof of participation. So you do have to be there doing something. The good thing about that is that it gets users, and like I think that's why we've, like with HEX, I think that's why we've seen so much drama happen, is because people can't just sit there and do nothing. Because you've got all of these people who are like interested in the cutting edge of innovation and they want to try stuff out. And it's like, then it's coming up with a token where you say, right, stake this for like multiple years and then sit on your hands. It's like, people are not going to last. People are just not going to last because they want to do stuff. So like where there are people like you who just are happy to just research stuff and look into privacy stuff and be interested in other things. Like you're not just sitting on your hands. You're not necessarily feeling like you're tied to it and clicking, but you're kind of like still researching and interested in other things, hey?
Yeah,
you're setting up. You set up a validator, probably, and you probably got your own other, like, I don't know what you're doing with, but you probably got like setting up Raspberry Pis, have got Monero fucking nodes or something like that, or I don't know what, you know what I mean? But you're probably like doing all sorts of clicking in your own way, hey?
Yeah. So my clicking is, I like to keep my clicking very much correlated with like research and learning, rather than clicking to like make a buck, if that makes sense. Having said that, I run a business as well. So there's a little bit of clicking that goes on with that, but I actually don't. And there's stuff that goes into that has nothing to do with clicking. Like I actually had, like today, I had a couple of staff not come in today. So I was actually on the phone a little bit earlier on, and I had to take a call from someone who was, wanting to purchase something online. It came through to me, and so I was just talking through it, and he was like disparaging our website. He was just telling me how shitty and mind you, this guy was like about 600 years old. I could hear it from him on his voice. And dude, I just don't have any patience anymore. Like it's like I had to put him on mute and go, "You are fucking kidding me." You yell it at the phone and then turn it off mute. And I had to do that because just to get through the call. I don't know what it is, dude. I haven't got patience anymore. I haven't got patience. Like I've got patience for my kids, but I haven't got patience for people who are like complaining about my shit when it's fucking good.
Yeah, right.
It's a good template that's used on that website. It's like he's like, why do I have to put my email address in here? And I'm like, what? I didn't even know how to respond to the guy. It's like, because that's the way it fucking worked. Like, You got to put your email address in there because it works
somewhere.
that way. Yeah. And so I came to the conclusion after that call, that I do not want to take these calls anymore of people. I don't want to take these calls, man. It's too I'm past it. I'm past having to deal with like that shit.
Yeah.
I don't even know how I ever taught people how to use like crypto. I don't even know how I ever did that.
So Ash has asked me if I've made any money on Zen, and the answer is yes. It's like, yeah, I have. And it's been really simple. I didn't even really do a lot because I just was kind of in a very experimental mode, and I didn't go berserk on it or anything like that. But undoubtedly, like, I'll just give you an example. On the first day, I minted a wallet, which was cost me $4. I think I did 5 of them. So 4 times 5, $20. And then I waited, I think, 200 days. And at that 200-day mark, I claimed the Zen from that. And that cost me $6 on each. So 6 times 5, $30. So $50 in all. And the Zen that I earned from that was worth like, it was just over, it was like $500 or $550 or something like that on that day, right? And perhaps that was just timing. But there's also money that I made. I'm like, I quite like like liquidity providing.
I think that is probably a way better way to. I feel like that's probably a better way. I don't really delve into that stuff, but I feel
LPing.
like that's LPing. I feel like that sort of makes sense because you are providing something like a service.
You can do it, like if you can time it well, it's the same with anything. It's like if you can time it well and how you do it. Hey, because like especially with on V3 where you set ranges and stuff, and you can do one-sided. So another thing I did was I could see the price was falling. So I set the price at a certain amount, and I set it at what I thought would be a little bit more than the bottom, and then I just put you just put a bit of it, like an ETH in, and then you just let it go over time, and it goes down, and then when you think then when you're all in Zen, when all of that ETH changes to all in Zen, you pull it, and then you just wait for the market to go up, and then once the market goes up, like, and that you're in profit, it's just a matter of timing about how much profit do you want to make. And so you've made money on all of the fees going down. You've dollar cost averaged in the whole time, and you can do this with any coin, but it was kind of a bit obvious with Zen that the price was going down, and so it's just a matter of sort of being able to suss out when you think the bottom will be. I did that with Hedron.
Are you back in black? Like, have you earned more?
Generally in this bear market, I've done so well in this bear market. It hasn't really been a bear market for me, just because I've been like doing that and Zen and like shifting stuff around, and then when Pulse Chain came out, I made some killer moves when Pulse Chain first came out, and people couldn't get bridged over, and I had all this money, and so I was picking up HEX over there at like 1 cent. I got a ton of HEX at 1 cent over there. That's now whatever, it's doubled or whatever, and LPing on that. You know what I mean? So LPing on that against the Pulse. So getting all the farming, and then I was selling the ink at the ink. I couldn't believe the ink went so high, and I was like selling twice a day sometimes because it's just like, this is not going to last.
Yeah, well, there wasn't much of it back then. There wasn't much of it. Like now, there's way more of it.
Yes, yeah.
But like back then, it was like scarce.
I just don't understand why you would buy it. Like, to me, it's just like
speculation.
Why would you buy this
I think
stuff?
it comes back because I had people.
It's the same with Zen. It's the same with Zen. I don't understand why anyone would buy Zen. I would not buy. There's no way I would just go do a market order of buying Zen. I think that would be the dumbest thing to do.
But you do need people to do that. Otherwise, you don't have a market, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But like, I can't help what other people are doing. Like, if other people are impatient, that's why it's kind of like Zen and HEX are similar in that it's waiting for the
You can only
it's the impatient giving to the patient.
No, but the difference is that you've got an option with Zen that you never have to buy it. And like, I'll put it this way: doesn't Zen just fail if everyone does what you're doing and not buy it?
Yeah, undoubtedly. Yeah, if everyone just mints and claims and dumps it, then the price goes down forever.
So that's not like, if someone wants to participate in HEX, then that's not an option.
Although with the burning, then it kind of changes it, doesn't it? Like if it all gets burnt, because it just depends on people's behavior, you know.
But burning, no, you need buy pressure.
Yeah, you still need buy pressure.
You always need buy pressure. You
But
need
that's
to
the
have
thing.
people
People have
buying.
been buying Zen in order to get these other things. Basically, it's just impatience. People have impatience, and they want something now, and so they're willing to spend.
I guess, but the difference is, like, after the adoption amplifier, the only way to get HEX was to buy it on market. Right. I mean, you could all you could do in the launch phase was claim it with BTC. If you had BTC, you could get free HEX to the tune
Or staking it. That's how you.
No, but you still need to buy it, right?
Yeah.
You still need to buy. You like to buy your initial part.
Yeah.
Whereas with Zen, like, I feel like that's almost like, I know you probably don't feel like that's an issue with it, but if everyone just follows what you like, the way you interact with it, then you would have downward price performance forever. You know, it would just go down forever if everyone just did what you're doing.
But that's just an unrealistic thing. Like, people, that's not how humans behave. People do all sorts of crazy crap.
Yeah,
people do all sorts of stuff that like, and I can tell people, you know, this is what you should do, or this is what I'm doing. This is what maybe is a good idea, and people will not listen to me or follow me. And then even if they think they're going to do, like, if you think, okay, I've got this strategy, people then sort of make irrational decisions in the moment. And I've seen myself do that as well. Like, I think I've got a strategy about how I'm going to do something, and then something happens, and you just quickly react in the moment, and you just buy a whole lot because it's so cheap or something, you know.
Yeah, and that's like, as a general rule, in that, something I've noticed in crypto, like in the crypto sort of community space, if like an idea becomes like a lot of people believe the same idea, it sort of fucks up the chances of that playing out. Sometimes, like, it's like everyone believing something's going to happen, then you're going to have people counter playing that belief, and that's when you. So there's
and often the biggest gains are when you go against the crowd, which really can fuck up your head.
It can. And that's where, and that's when it starts getting like, that's really starts getting into like being a trader, because trading is a lot about, I know they like to look at charts and stuff, but it's a lot about psychology of the market. What's going on. So that's getting into that space, which I hate having to think about that. I used to hate that about like my business. Like, I used to hate the simple thing of having to make a decision on whether I lock in an exchange rate for US dollars for future business I would have to do, or whether I just sit on it and then you know, use a spot rate, and then potentially I was looking at a gain or a loss, but no,
just because
I was forced to like
buy
or do business
at
on a
time.
global, and I used to hate that. It's like, fuck, it's like hard enough to make a buck in business anyway, but when you need to do it, and then you're also sort of gambling, it's basically gambling on exchange rates. You know, that was always something that was frustrating to me. But I just, look, we've been going for 45, almost, how long? 40 minutes. We've got like, this show is always going to be a shorter show. We discussed this. We don't want to be doing like 2-3 hour shows. We'll probably wind it up in about 15 minutes. Is there anything that we want to like cover in the last few minutes of this stream?
HEX enthusiasts, as I said, have they been claimed or mint this that is a year away, and comparing it? Yeah, I mean, you never. Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, you're never going to know what's going to happen in a year, what the price is going to be in a year, and so that's where it's like unknown. But I figure as long as you're making any kind of X's, it makes sense to, and what we've seen is like quite a lot. It's worth quite a lot more than what it was earlier. So who knows what happens in a year? It seems to have, like, if you look at the chart, it seems to be a bit of a bottom price for Pulse for Zen but it's different on every single chain. That's the whole thing as well. It's like, are you looking on an Ethereum or Pulse chain? Someone also asked, so do you guys mint NFTs on Pulse chain? Yeah, I've been doing it. I've been playing on that one for sure. And I don't know how popular it will be. I don't know whether it will be the same as Ethereum. It's going to be very different because, like, what we've seen with Zen is that the chains which have expensive transaction have better price performance on the Zen. So Pulse chain has cheap transactions, so maybe it won't work out like that. And you're certainly getting a lot of people minting, that's for sure. You can just look on chain and see that. So it's going to be interesting. Those guys have also got a lot of new stuff coming out. They're doing really exciting stuff technologically. Like their new chain that they want to come out with, they're looking at what's it called? DAGs. It's a new type. It's a different type of blockchain, which is just super fast.
That's not new. DAGs are not
no, it's
new.
not new. No, it's not new.
Old. It's
yeah,
old.
Hashgraph did it. Yeah, but no one has done it.
IOTA did it. IOTA tried to do it.
Yeah, right. So
Dude,
no one's
ever
done it successfully. Yeah, no. But they've got the users to really be able to try it as well. Like a lot of those other chains never ended up having the users. That ended up being kind of academics.
I think this is like they. Oh man, look, it could be a huge failure, dude. That's like
it could.
That could be
of course
huge
all
failure.
of this stuff could.
I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but like others who have tried that shit have failed and failed and failed.
Yeah, but it's worth trying. It's worth trying for, though. They're not going to release it.
My understanding was the problem with it is that they could never like get consensus. Like you couldn't get consensus. Like shit over here would have a different like shit over here wasn't in consensus with shit over here, and that's the whole like.
That's a massive problem. Like that's the whole. That means you have double. That means you have double spends, and look, that was one of the questions I asked him, and I don't know how they've done it. I haven't delved deeply into the consensus mechanism or how it's done or anything like that. But the way they're speaking about it, it sounds as if like it's pretty good. And one of the interesting things as well is that what they did by putting their Zen out on all of these different chains is they were basically testing the tech of each chains, and there were certain chains that failed. There were certain chains that couldn't handle the amount of transactions and ended up crashing those chains, and those chains ended up censoring Zen from those chains. So they really did, and they got it. How did they stop it? Well, obviously they didn't. They had control. They had centralized control over the chains. Now we're talking about like, okay, I can't remember. I don't want to say which chain it was because I can't remember which it was. But there was, I think it was Doge chain. They ended up having to ban Zen from it because they couldn't handle.
Do you agree that Pulse chain is awesome? Because even though, there was sort of a social, I'm not going to say a social attack, but he came into the HEX community to clearly to get HEX users interested in the product, right? Which is sort of, it's a way to do something, would you say that what was I fucking saying?
You found it unethical the way he
marketed a little bit unethical, but I was getting to a point. Hang on, I've got this thing going on in the background here. Just give me 1 second.
What else have we got here? What's sparking your interest in the RH ecosystem at the moment, Blue? I've been looking at I really like Beat. I don't know if you guys have seen Beat Beat World. What's the website? Beatroot.world. It's a privacy token. They have all sorts of privacy tools, and they have their own token, and it's only on Pulse Chain, and it's a really cool little community. And the way they've set up their tokenomics is that there is a bit of a tax on every transaction, and some of that gets sent to a burn address, and some of it gets some of it gets buyback and burnt, and some of it goes to just holders of the token. And so
maybe we can delve into Beat on the next episode. Like, I would like to find out a bit more about it. We can actually bring up the website and look at the different things that does. I think it's worthy of
look at the actual
episode.
tokenomics. But, absolutely.
What I was saying before, just before I lost my train, like I had this beep, you can't hear it. I had this beeping going on in the background, and it's made me lose my train of thought. But I was talking about Zen and with Pulse Chain. Do you think because minting like Zen on Pulse Chain would just like it doesn't cost very much to, like, I guess this is how I understand it with Zen. If the cost of minting is higher, that means that there's more value in that, right?
Yeah. If transaction costs on a chain are higher, what we've seen is that the price of Zen becomes higher. Yeah.
So would it be fair to say that the fact that the cost of minting on Pulse Chain is so cheap that's almost like not worth? It's almost like just not worth it because it's so cheap.
Well, that's the thing. It's kind of like, okay, so let's say if you want to do one address on Ethereum, it's going to cost you $4 to mint it, and then $6 to claim, so $10. And let's say the Zen you get from that is worth, let's say, $40 after you've done it. So you've got a profit of $30, right? Now, if on Ethereum you can scale that up by doing ZenFTs, right? But at the moment on Pulse Chain, a ZenFT on Pulse Chain is going to cost you about somewhere between $4 and $6 to mint, right? I'm not sure how much it's going to cost to claim. I haven't claimed one yet because I generally do mine. Like I'm very patient, and I sort of do them kind of near max amount of time, which is over a year. So I haven't minted as NFT on Pulse Chain yet, apart from when there was on testnet. And so let's say that it's a similar kind of cost. That means that you'll be able to make $30 profit, but you won't be able to do it at scale like you can do on Ethereum. So if you're willing to be a click monkey and do 1,000 VMUs, then $30 times 1,000, you've made 30 grand. But it means you have been a click monkey. So but then the other thing is that once you've got all of that Zen, you can't, if you have that much Zen, you can't.
Wait a second. Wait. But wouldn't you have to be able to sell that on the market?
Well, that's the thing. So you
just said you make 30 grand, like it's like that's like you definitely make 30 grand.
No. Well, I'm talking about a future prices. So it's pure. I have no idea. It's pure speculation, right?
You always need the market. Like you always need the market to respond. And like I said, the issue I have with Zen is that because you could just mint stuff. Because you could just mint stuff, you don't have to go and buy it. So you're gonna always have this like. Not all. I can't say always, but I feel like the way it's designed, you're always going to struggle with having people buying it.
Potentially, yes, absolutely. Which and that's what happens when you're a whale of anything. Like you look at the HEX God Whale. Like they can't just sell all of their stuff. They crash the price.
They have to sacrifice to
sacrifice the fucking pancakes.
Yeah.
Crazy. But like, but it's probably part of the reason why he did that. Like he's got so much of this stuff, and it's like he can't do anything with it. Like, and that's a problem of a whale. And so if you become a whale on Zen on the Pulse chain, you have that issue as well. Like you can't just dump it all and get money. You dump it and it's the price you get eaten up. So, but with slippage. So the mindset of a whale has to be different. That's when you have to start like being a liquidity provider, or like they'll have. There are other things like where you can burn Zen and get this other token. So they'll maybe pivot into some of those things, like DB Zen, which is it's a kind of a it's a whole another whole thing, and or Phoenix, which is kind of like a hex iteration, I suppose, on these other chains, So
well, dude,
you have to think differently is my point. Yeah.
Yep. So look, I can say that I haven't I think things need to like just work in the wild. Like they need to work in the wild. And as long as things work in the wild, then and they're in the DeFi space, I'm not gonna it doesn't convince me to go into it, but I don't begrudge it's I don't begrudge it. Like I don't have a problem with its existence. I don't like it when it pushes up gas fees, gas prices. Like, before we had Pulse Chain, I remember there was a period of time when it was pushing up gas prices on Ethereum, and it was like, fuck that Zen. It was like, fuck it, because it was just like the top gas user. Like it was just like, why?
Like it's still up there, Yeah.
And it just that really, like back then, I think that rubbed a lot of hexagons the wrong way. But some obviously it didn't, like yourself. So there you go. It goes to show you that different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, look, I think we have to acknowledge that we're the part of the reason that we're attracted to cryptocurrencies is because this is where there's tons of innovation happening, because there's no permission. You don't need permission from someone to put up a contract. You put it up, and if people use it, they use it, and it's as simple as that. And so I love that this is a space where we have tons of innovation, and and I think that letting it play out is like a really good thing for everyone in the long run. So thanks, OG43, for this awesome show, this chance for us to chat about other stuff.
Yeah. So next week, let's talk about Beetroot, dude. I'm interested to talk about Beetroot because that's right up my, I'm interested in all that sort of.
Yeah, we can pick apart their privacy tools. That'd be a great idea.
Yeah. Let's do that. And anyone watching, thank you very much for coming along and participating in this first Not Hex episode. Let people know that we're talking about Beetroot next week. Maybe we can get someone from Beetroot on. Maybe we can.
Yeah, I can ask him that. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And as long as they know I put on my adversarial hat, I'm really grateful that people go to the trouble of making these protocols and doing stuff, but I'm always adversarial, like from a privacy perspective. Like if you're going to say something's privacy focused, like, is it truly privacy focused? And, we can maybe delve into that next week. But yeah, thanks, Bluey. This has been awesome. And let's we'll wind it up. Catch you later.